Stop going for men because they have money. That's the solution to your problem.
It's like saying stop going for women because they look good.
Whether or not women want to accept this, most men deal with more than one woman at least one time in their life anyways.
A man needs respect to feel loved. A man don't feel love because you kissing on him, whatever. The Bible says a man needs to, that's how men feel loved.
I'm gonna trust you to be you, and I'm not gonna expect anything other than what you've shown me.
This is my question to a lot of men who aren't being real with themselves, right? If money was never a factor, could you have more than one wife?
Hey guys, it's your girl, Erin the Renegade. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to y'all. We have reached 100,000 subscribers.
Excuse me, 100. Go ahead.
Anyway, we have reached 100,000 subscribers, and that is huge. We appreciate the love. We appreciate y'all sharing our content, talking about it, hitting up the comments. We really love y'all, and we thank you for the support. So now we're gonna dive right in. So today we have Rico, obviously, and we have our guest Derek, and we're gonna be talking about the availability of men who are marriage material. So we'll call it marriageable, if you will, you know. So I'm gonna ask some questions. So Rico, what would you attribute that to?
Wait.
Why aren't there enough men who want to get married such that it aligns with the number of women who want to be married?
Okay. Time out. Hold on. I'm gonna first of all tell you that I disagree with that statement. But if I had to answer,
Wait, tell me what you disagree with.
I don't think that there's enough. I don't think that there's a lack of men that are willing to get married. I think there's a lack of marriable women because of their past in my age bracket. I feel like people don't realize that the past could taint your future.
So you think there's enough willing and ready men and women who can partner and get married? Like, is that what you're saying?
Ready or willing or both? I think there's men. I think every man is willing to get married to a woman. Most men, not every man. Let me clarify. Most men are willing to get married to a woman, but it has to be a woman that they find valuable.
Right.
I think women, especially wives, earn the ring through whatever way that you know is for him. Now, I think that nowadays men are not probably getting married, if I had to think about it or answer this question, because there's no woman earning a ring. There's no woman that's setting themselves apart. Being pretty only costs $8,500. $8,500 in 3 months of healing. So now
Pretty subjective.
Well, I mean, you get what I'm going with this. So when you add that up, being pretty is becoming more common than ever, even though it is subjective. Or let's say, how about this? Being aesthetically pleasing to the eye is more common than ever. So now it's, you know, what are y'all doing outside of that? I think that women are in the process of building themselves up from being oppressed for so long that they don't care to, you know, be a wife as well, or, you know, and I'm not mad at them for that. So yeah, if you ask, that's my answer to the question.
Eric, what's your?
It's a little bit everywhere, but you get it.
What's your take on it?
All right, ask me again.
Why? So the premise of this is there really aren't enough men for the number of women who seek marriage. I don't know if the word is marriable or marriageable.
Marriage material.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we need to say no. There is not enough men because women outnumber men.
Thank you. I was waiting on somebody.
And women live longer than men, so there's not. Everybody can't go. Everybody's not going to go to the big show if that's where you want to go.
The ship.
Yeah, you know, like, cause trust me, everybody want to get married, but that shit is hard.
It is.
It is hard, and And we're living in a day and age where, and I'm gonna look at the camera, social media got you thinking you popping. So you think you got options. So after one argument, it's done. We're not conditioning our people, our young people, to be married or even want to be married. First of all, we don't even make monogamy look cool. It doesn't look enjoyable.
Why would you want to do it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So why would you put yourself in bondage? Because that's what marriage is. It's easy to get in and hard to get out.
But quick question. So, but you can have a marriage and it not be based on monogamy.
And
but
that's the
people
problem.
have to be willing to have those types of conversations and say like, look, I want to marry you. I want to build with you. I feel like we're great life partners, but these are my desires sexually. Right. These are my desires physically, so on and so forth.
All right, like take Rico. At his age, he's super mature.
I think he did.
I would not say all of
that. No. If you hear what he talks,
Aaron is a hater. Just let her go.
I'm not
at his age.
First of all, time out. Stop at this age. You had me and now you're losing me. Stop.
No, I'm not doing that. 30. No. But I'm just saying. Think about 30-year-olds that still. Come on, you still got a lot.
I'm not 30, guys.
He about to be 30.
But I'm just saying, you know, a lot of this stuff that, you know, to have something besides monogamy takes so much maturity.
Yeah.
It takes so much maturity and patience that we don't have it for each other.
Listen, I don't want to go too far left. I want to stay on topic, but I do want to touch on a couple of things that you were saying. Listen. I told you this earlier. It's going to be funny on camera, but you're going to understand what I'm saying. I trust God, right? So when I say that, right, I believe that God is faithful to amongst everybody. Everybody gets a fair shake at life in some way, shape, or form, right? So for me to say that women outnumber men and then try to put monogamy on it, I don't think that that's right for women. You're trying to tell me that if it was 3-1, I don't know the numbers. Let's just say if it was 3-1, that 2 women don't deserve or won't find a husband. It doesn't make sense to me. So I think that going back to another point that you said, the options being so upfront because of social media has now opened the eyes to a lot of people that are like, hey, I want to be married, but maybe I want more than one wife. Or maybe I want more than one husband. I don't know, whatever your preference is. And now you're seeing traditional values conflict with the realistic lifestyle, realistic reality of the world. And I feel like that is also hindering marriages as well.
I'm glad you said the word traditional because I'm from North Carolina, born and raised in church. And the Bible says,
Amen.
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And we have a lot, because in the Bible, when they say man, they're not just talking about us as men physically. We're talking about women and men. What we have is a lot of double-mindedness where you want to be traditional and independent.
Yeah.
And it's confusing. So men don't know the assignment. We don't know who to. When you're with a person, you have to be able to wear different hats. I don't know who to tend to because there's a little boy Rico who was hurt. So sometimes the woman has to put on the hat and tend to the little boy Rico inside of you that was hurt. It's same thing with women. There's a little girl Aaron that didn't get certain things. You need a man who is
My
mature.
daddy was around.
No. But you know,
joking.
you need that person who
She said, "Ha, ha, ha,"
understands
to those.
that they have to wear several hats in a relationship, and people. Too much is given, much is required. People want to give in, but they don't want to be required of anything. Don't make me work. You know what I'm saying? It's harder to be with one person than several. Because with that one person, you got to keep their attention.
You got to work
With a bunch of people, you can spend a little bit of time here, spend a little time here, and guess what? Everybody feels fulfilled. But like when you want to sit down and be with that one person, they really show you what you're lacking because a relationship is nothing but a mirror and you cannot hide from the reflection. That person's gonna show you the good and the bad in yourself.
So I think that when it comes to marriage, a lot of us actually did not see, we didn't see a true version of what marriage is. Like everybody like hypes up, well my meemaw and my peepaw, they was this, that, and the other. Yeah, but your grandmother was trapped. She didn't want to be there.
Right.
She was getting her ass whooped. She ain't had no job. She couldn't have a checking account on her own.
Thank you, man.
You know what I mean? Like there were just so many things. Like she wasn't choosing to be there because she was happy. She was choosing to be there out of necessity. or maybe because she was scared, or maybe because her kids needed things, you know? So I think a lot of us don't understand the historical difference between just 2 generations ago, our grandmothers and our grandfathers.
Right.
And a lot of people in our generation, our parents weren't together. Daddy wasn't around, or parents were divorced, or, you know, so at this point, we shouldn't be relying on traditional roles.
No, we should throw them away, which is why there's no more speak some, keep some. Women make more money than men, so now they get to say, get the fuck off my face. They get to talk and say what they really want to say, because me, mom couldn't do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So she had to sit back. That's why I tell women, they say, oh, I want the traditional, whatever. Okay, well, let's talk about tradition then. Back in the day, a man could have another family 5 miles down the road, and nobody would ever know until they died.
Yep.
And the funeral, this your cousin, no, this your sister. You know, you found that out.
It was peaceful. A lot more peaceful.
What was peaceful?
Back then.
Oh,
My grandma stabbed my grandpa, so I don't know.
shit.
I don't know how peaceful it was.
So I also want to touch on it, and you know, you brought up something that made me think of it on the flip end too. And I'm not gonna dive into conspiracy theories. That's not what I'm gonna do. But we got to be realistic. We got to be realistic too. What we're talking about when we try to say that there's not enough men that are willing or ready to be married, or are marriage qualifying or materials, right? And the funny thing is that men, specifically black men, have been ran and kicked out of their homes since the 70s. So now you had children that were born in the 70s, 80s, 90s. There's been a domino effect, who did not have a man role model in that household.
When were the men kicked out?
Well, basically, there was basically a bribe. So, you know, you basically had women at the time who had children, and government assistance was there to say, okay, well, if you want government assistance in these, you know, low-income areas, the man cannot reside inside this house.
Okay, wait, but let's.
But that's
let's
not.
He's right.
For husbands.
No, but he's right.
What I'm trying to say,
But for that happen though, men, what we need to see, our black men pretty much are laborers.
Yeah.
We're blue collar at best, right? So there was a time where a man could work in a factory and take care of his home and be middle class. When they shipped the jobs overseas, the men had nowhere to work. And then, okay, so now our women had to go and they had to assume this masculine role. And what some men don't understand, it's hard for a woman to be in her feminine energy when she's worried about bills. So now they're assuming the breadwinner role.
They had to.
It had to. And now we have a show on television that shows us they drop crack in our neighborhoods. And now a man worrying about bills, he's stressed out, he's going to turn to either sex or drugs. So he's going to hit that pipe. So now the man that was a strong man is an addict now. And the woman is still trying to pick up the pieces. And when you are stressed out, you turn to sex. That's why poor people have so many children. Sex is the cheapest form of entertainment.
Yeah, but what I was really going with, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I was going with was more so something totally different. So what ends up happening is you have a lot of kids that grow up without a father figure. I watched this video that was from the 90s, and they had interviewed 5 African-American women. I hate that terminology, African-American, but 5 African-American women, and they were asking about the father, like, okay, do you need the father's help? And I said, no, I don't need the help. I don't need his help. I got this, I can do this, I'm gonna figure out how to do it, whatever. Granted, I don't know the variables that, you know, existed in the relationship, but what I'm saying is you have that situation that occurs, right? Now you have that child, which is the product of the situation, woman or man, right? But because we're talking about men, I'm gonna just speak about men. That child who's a boy grows up to be a man. He never had a dad there, or he never had a man figure there to cater to that woman. What is he emulating?
Right.
He's emulating his mom.
He's emulating his mom or his environment, either or, right? And then he has a kid, right? And then when he has a kid, now we're talking about early 2000s, his dad is still lost in the sauce somewhere, and now this kid is now looking at him being lost in the sauce, and who is that boy emulating?
But quick question, at what point do you just take personal accountability and be like, you know what?
Yeah.
My dad did this. Fuck all of that. I'm not doing that.
That's
my,
me.
you know, but that's what I'm saying. So I understand the context you're giving it, but we all have personal choices. You know, like my younger brother, his dad wasn't around, but he's making a conscious decision. I am going to be in my kid's life. I'm going to raise a family with their mother. We are going to be married. We have the nuclear family because this is what I want for myself. And I think that a lot of times people, a lot of content makers make the argument that you're making and say that, well, that's why. It's not why. No, but they rely on that, saying that's the reason.
Okay.
Is that reason plus lack of an accountability?
Well,
that's what it is.
Well, we're talking about core. Well, I'm talking about core. You're talking about solutions. I'm talking about the core problem. That's where we're different.
No, the problem is lack of accountability.
The problem isn't the lack of accountability when it's new. Now, when we can sit back here and say 3 generations later, you've lacked accountability and you've lacked accountability, I'm not going to be that person to make it. But when it's a fresh cut, it's hard to solve. So now we have, like, for example, I didn't have my father there my whole life, right? But I don't emulate him at all. You know, I take care of my whole family. I love doing that. That's something that brings me joy, not happiness, joy. But it took for me to see my grandfather do it to my dad and my dad to do it to me. And if I was the first generation of it, I could possibly say that I would be lost too. It's a possibility. But what I'm saying is, at the core, you have a lot of men that just don't have a role model.
No, I get it.
And I'm not saying that's an excuse for bad behavior.
Right.
But you
It's a contributing factor.
But it's a pivotal factor, because it's hard to sit here and tell a person how to deal with their traumas. It's very hard. And I've learned that because you cannot have a dad, I cannot have a dad. I could be a great dad. You could be just like yours. And
but why?
But he's still accountable.
But tell us why.
Why what?
Why, if you both come from the same circumstances and you choose to do something else, would it? Because the thing is that the variables. I mean, this is constant.
Yeah.
So what variables make you do something different?
The people I surround myself with.
So you're saying like your friends and stuff?
Exactly. See, the difference is a lot of men who grow up lost surround themselves with other lost men. And I said this on another episode, but I was speaking about women because we were speaking about women. A lot of people, now that we're talking about men, so women and men surround themselves with poor people. And I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, and principle-wise.
They're called echo chambers.
Exactly. So now what happens is you become a product of what you surround yourself with. So for me, what made the difference for me is I had great people, which I'm blessed for, that told me, because I was going to go down that route. Like, I'll tell you straight up, I was like, yo, no, like the way this happened, blah, 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 blah. But I had people in my ear that tell me, like, that's not the right thing to do. That's not how it should be. And even though I fought with them, they fought with me. And then, you know, by the time my baby was here, I mean, everything was already hashed out and we figured it out, you know. But if I didn't have them and I had the same others that were saying, yeah, fuck that. It's part of my rights. Yeah, forget that. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't need her. You go make another one. This is real. You know what I probably would have did, especially because of how I was feeling? I would have just probably followed those footsteps. So I think to answer your question is, the main difference between going left and going right is simply whoever that person is surrounded by to tell them better because they didn't know better.
So pretty much who's ever pouring into you.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever's pouring into you. And you know, I think I'm also like, it's so funny because I never thought in my life I would say this. Almost all of my friends are married. Right? And I didn't realize this until recently. I'm like, yo, this is my close friend and he's married. And this is another close friend of mine and he's married. This is another close friend of mine. He's not married, but they've been together for 7 years. That's married. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is my other close friend and he's wilding, you know. This is kind of fun, but this all looks more stable. So now that I'm having more people, Yeah, it's more stable, right? So now that I'm having, but don't get me wrong, we always get tempted by the wild side, right? But the people who I'm surrounded by are all married, and I'm seeing them take care of their families. I'm seeing them happy, and I'm seeing them, even though life gives them, I'm not saying marriage just makes you happy. That's not what I'm saying. 'Cause life gives everybody obstacles. But now I could sit here and say like, okay, cool, I'll be married too, right? But if you asked me this 5 years ago, I probably would have told you never in my life I'm getting married. I'm not doing that. It doesn't even make sense, you know? So it is about who men choose to surround themselves with, and what the men are doing that they're surrounded by plays a big factor into what steps and strides they go to as pertaining to the question of marriage.
I think we, when we want to explain things, the word grace just comes to mind all the time. Grace, grace, grace. Another thing that we don't talk about is how, as slavery, black bucks were breeders. They would go from village, they would go from plantation to plantation. So this is DNA. That all this trauma is in our DNA. It's almost like, because I grew up around, my mom was very emotionally available. She was very affectionate, which is why I'm a very affectionate man. But when she passed away, and I was raised by all my other aunts and my grandmothers, they were not emotionally available women. And I'm like, damn, my mom made a choice to not be like that with me. You know what I mean? But what we have to understand is, we can look at them and be upset with them, or you didn't hug me or whatever, whatever, but we got to go back to why. In slavery, if they hugged you, they would steal you. Because if the master saw that the connection, he would hold it over you, and he would sell them off. So they would never hug you. They would never kiss you. We as black people, we got to do a better job of giving each other grace and understanding there is a reason why we do what we do. Do you know eating watermelon is from Africa? But over here, we're ashamed to eat it. And over in Africa, they look at us like we crazy. That is one of the most nutritious, it's hydrating, it's all these things. Cooking out on the grill, that's an African tradition. All these things that we're doing and we don't know why, is because it's in our DNA. And we have been programmed, disenfranchised. We have been done so horrible. Even now with what they're doing in the government, we don't make no rules. They exist. They kept a lot of marriages together, whether you knew it or not. You know, whether, you know,
Side
first
pieces.
of all, I always say a woman will step out emotionally before she step out physically. She does. There's somebody right now as we speak on social media carrying on an emotional affair in her DMs. She ain't had sex with him, but she's carrying on a love affair with him. So she's cheating, you know. So
But is it
I
sneaky?
don't wanna know.
Is it sneaky?
but
is it
Some sad
sneaky, or is it in her DNA?
oh, is it in her DNA?
A woman, it's in a woman's DNA, of course. She's
Well,
an
you know what? I
emotional
don't think it's
creature.
DNA. I think it's self-preservation. I do think a lot of men feel like they have to be monogamous because that's what society has told them to. But there are a lot of men who are not monogamous and need to unlearn and figure out what they really are. Are you poly or whatever? I don't think I'm built that way. But
Wait,
I ask you a
I have a
question?
question. No, I have to ask. If you're saying you're not built that way and you seek marriage,
wait, built to deal with more.
to be
more.
monogamous.
More than one.
No, I'm built for monogamy.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not. I'm
I'm not built. I like. Listen.
Okay, so if you are saying I, Rico, am not built for monogamy, but I do desire marriage, are you willing to have those honest and
Already did.
difficult conversations?
Already did.
No, but I'm saying with the person you know you want to marry.
Already did.
In
I told you.
Already
he
did.
is at his age. He's
Like
different.
I already
told you
did. Like my thing is, and first of all, before I even, this has been going on for at least 4 years of my life. Before I even considered a woman to be serious, or to consider me and a woman to be serious, I say, listen, I want 2 wives. If you're not with it, it's cool. I don't want you to get emotionally attached. We're at that point where I feel like emotions are getting involved. Before any emotion gets involved, I'm not gonna lead you astray. I want 2 wives. This is what I see in my future. However, if it changes, it changes. But as of right now, I'm letting you know where I stand today.
I mean, because in Africa, you can have it as long as you could afford it.
Yeah, and that's my thing, right? And this is my question to a lot of men who aren't being real with themselves, right? If money was never a factor, could you have more than 1 wife?
Are you asking me?
I'm just asking, like, it's a general question too.
Okay, so if money's not a factor, I think that we have to look at what the partners believe that the other person should bring. So can you satisfy in all other areas, with the exception of finances, can you satisfy multiple women?
Yeah.
Can you be there emotionally, spiritually, go through all the bullshit? Or when you arguing with this, and you're like, man, fuck all this, I'm finna go over to this house.
You know what I realized?
Because that's what they do. And when we talk about Africa, because I have friends whose grandparents live on compounds, and they're one of multiple. So what I have seen and heard from them was that if Grandpa was mad at Chi-Chi grandmama,
She went to go.
Grandpa was going to the next house because they all live right there by each other. So he was going to Ngozie's house because Chi-Chi was getting on his nerves.
Which makes sense too, but I mean,
I like how you came up with the names off the fly.
at the same time,
Nigeria.
you know, a lot of people, I don't know why people, whenever it comes to this more than one spouse thing in the marriage, people think that everybody's the same. Women are different, right? So you can have one woman or women. Every woman has different needs. That's what I should say. So you have one woman who requires a lot of attention, and one woman that requires the minimum attention. You have one woman that requires a lot of affection, and you can have another woman that doesn't require nearly as much affection. So the way you would balance it, and this is what I'm gonna tell you and majority of the world that watches here at 8 at the Table, whether or not women want to accept this, most men deal with more than one woman at least one time in their life anyways.
Yeah.
Right, but you're not giving the same to
Yes,
each woman.
they are. And
No, they're not.
Okay, listen.
Same with women. If we got 3 niggas, believe you me, one of them is at the top, another one is in the middle, and another one is at the bottom.
What I'm trying to tell you is, y'all are also talking, first of all, women, we already said this, are typically more emotional beings. So it's impossible, I don't want to say impossible, but it's very hard for you to decipher all of your emotions evenly across 3 people. Men
Because you're not. No,
but
you're not.
men are not like that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're the totally opposite. Because the amount of, for me, and for all the men that I have come into contact with and spoken to, right? She can only require, let's say if I had a tank, right? Of emotions and love, right? She only requires a quarter tank. I still got 2/3 left. And then this other one requires 2/3. They're both getting fulfilled, but they just have different needs of whatever different amounts of whatever I can give to them.
I'm actually going to say women do the opposite. I feel like women are more inclined to be like, this man does this, and he does it well.
They compartmentalize.
This man does this, and he does it well, and that man does that. And all of them put together works for me.
Well, that's what happened with men.
But you just said you're giving pieces. So I'm saying what women do is like, he provides all the finances. So that's what he does. He's slanging the dick. That's what he does. If I want somebody to lay up and rub on me and kiss me on my forehead, that's what he does.
That's why women usually get led astray.
How so?
Because they're going based on what you're saying. They're choosing by what somebody is giving, right? And now they're trying to pour their emotions and they're trying to pour their investment of themselves into whatever is more of a priority for them.
I totally disagree.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they truly like this person. This person provides the finances. But you know what? Now the person that provides the finances is requiring more time from me. I don't like him as much as the one that provides the dick. But I'm going to give him that time because he provides the finances, and finances is number 1 for me. So now you can end up in a limbo of what you really want. Versus what I'm saying for a man, we deal with more than one woman. We want pretty much the same thing across all of the women.
We want them to feel the same way.
Yeah. So if she requires, like I said, a third of my gas tank, and she requires 2/3 of my gas tank, I have enough gas to fulfill both of them. I'm balancing both of them.
That's the question. Do you have enough gas?
I got enough gas. You know what I'm saying?
That's really the
I got enough gas.
That's really the question.
And if I don't got enough gas, we just pour one of these, and then it's gonna make me last. You know what I'm saying?
But I feel the question is, whenever we talk about more than one woman, it just always sounds like we're talking about sex.
Thank you. That's why I was saying fulfillment
but
of so many other things.
And that's the thing though, because you think about yourself too, right?
Right.
Now, because now we're talking from a man's perspective,
right?
And you can actually chime in from a woman's perspective too.
Thank you, Rico.
You're welcome. So, so when you think about all the women that you've dated, right?
Right.
And not had sex with, dated, like women that you started to invest time in. Maybe you invest time in all the women that you have sex. I'm just trying to differentiate the two.
Right.
Each one of them, did they love you in a different way?
Looking back on it, I feel like none of them love me. Honestly.
Damn.
I mean, honestly, not.
That's serious though.
But
that's why there's not enough
That was deep.
willing men to marry.
That was serious.
no.
No, we need to talk about that. That was deep. What you mean? You been all these women and you don't feel none of them loved you?
I mean, this is what I say.
Love you the way that you needed? Is that
Well, yeah, like it was.
Talk to us for real. Talk to us.
Everything was good when I was making them happy, but when it was time for me to need something back, now it's an issue.
They were
It's a
unavailable.
problem. They were. Well, I was also marrying women who were feminine, but they lacked a lot of feminine qualities that I thought I was looking for. Like that's why I say I don't want to deal with more than one, because if we talking about sex, I know what it's like to have a sex with a bunch of women and say, okay, what you about to do? You know what I mean? I'm tired of that. You know what I mean? I now know where I'm at in my life is I need that emotional intimacy to go with it if we're going to get it popping. Also, too, because when it's time to do that, I'm a little eccentric. And I don't want everybody knowing about me. You know what I mean? Like, you don't realize.
fair.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Two people is not everybody. Bro.
I'm saying, but I'm on TV, bro. It's you're trusting
it's too
someone.
late. You already planted your seeds.
Listen, I understand, but my thing is, whenever you have sex with somebody, you're trusting them to keep your shit private.
boy, that
You
is
know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
We need a break on that one.
You know?
That's a real thing. That is a
and-
real thing.
And look, I don't want to call no names, but look what somebody did. Oh, he like a finger in the butthole. Like, no. I'm just saying. My thing is, I'm doing a better job of gauging who I'm going there with, and getting their rationale. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of takers out here. And because this is how they dumb us down. They think just because they give us pussy, they good. No, I need a little bit more than that.
My question for you, do you have problems finding a woman to trust or finding a woman that loves you? Because this just sounds more like a trust thing.
You know what? I do. I don't. We were talking about Russell. You weren't here for that, but we were talking about Russell, and I'm just saying Russell has found a woman who makes him feel safe to be the man that he is. And I don't think men understand how important it is to find that woman that makes you feel safe. Because it is our job to do whatever, but if there is not a good, safe work environment, how the fuck I'm gonna do my job? How I'm gonna do my job? You're not entitled to romance just because you got a vagina. No, you're entitled to romance when you make me feel safe and comfortable. Because guess what? What you don't realize is these guys that are rich, a $5,000 purse is nothing to them. It's nothing.
Yep.
What are you talking about? Steph Curry makes about 6 figures every game.
I can catch it. Thank you.
So I'm just saying, like, what is this bag to you? You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
It's like, it's crazy to me, man.
Which part?
All of it.
Which part, though?
So you just talked about like feeling secure and safe. That's what a lot of women desire, so that they can open up and let you like get to a certain place.
I think that's bullshit too. I think women want a man I think I think that's bullshit. I think a lot of women want to feel safe so you could deal with their baggage and their bullshit. But if you come with some baggage of bullshit, now they're judging your manhood.
No, I'm talking about. No, I'm being very one-sided about this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, I'm just saying like I'll use myself for an example. In order for me to even know that I really like you, I have to know that I can trust you, that you have my best interests in mind, like that you're not gonna run out here and tell all my business.
Right.
Like I have to feel safe at a minimum as friends, you know, before I can even get to a certain place with you.
Right. But the trust thing is what I was saying. It's like trust them emotionally.
There's very few people on this planet who I've come into contact with that I know I trust to be 100% genuine. Very few. And then if I met 10, 20, 30, 50,000 people in my lifetime, I could probably say it's less than 25.
I feel like I trust people to be themselves.
Yeah.
Like if I know you a scammer, if I know you
scam.
like if I know you a liar, if I
Right.
know you don't pay people back their money, I'm gonna trust you to be you, and I'm not gonna expect anything other than what you've shown me.
Yeah, but trusting you to be you does not mean you trust them. You're just saying you're gonna be you, and I accept you for being the terrible or inconsistent person that you are. But when we're talking about trusting. Now.
No, it depends on how you want to trust people. Are you willing to? So he's saying, I want to trust somebody with my emotions, with my emotional health, my this, that, and the other.
We're talking about marriage right now.
But somebody else may
You
say
need that in marriage.
Somebody,
Yeah.
no, listen.
Yeah.
Somebody else may say, and I'll tell y'all this. Everybody know this about me. I have to be able to trust you with my financial security. You can't be no gambler going out here putting a second mortgage on my house. I will kill you.
Oh my God.
I'm so serious. You cannot. You know what happens if I don't have a house? Where I'm going?
Yeah.
I ain't got nowhere to lay my head.
Wait, can I say something real quick? And this just made me think about something, right? And I don't know if the question was qualifying or readiness in terms of men that are willing or ready or qualifying to be married, right? Hold on. Most of the richest women in this world are rich by product of divorce. So, since they're rich by product of divorce, there's a lot of men that fear getting married when providing finances is so high on the priority list for women.
Can I just clarify one thing?
That's a fact. You can Google it.
No, and let's say it is a fact. If they were rich by divorce, it means they were rich when they were married.
No.
That's exactly what it means. If you're
they
rich,
were not rich before marriage.
They grew.
They were not rich before marriage.
a lot of men aren't rich before marriage.
Wait. I just want to clarify what Rico said. Are you saying that most women women who become really rich, like Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Bill Gates' ex-wife, the wealthiest women, become wealthy through divorce?
Through divorce, yes. Most of the richest women.
Oh, the richest women.
Yes,
Those women were rich during marriage. They built their fortunes with their husbands.
I don't need to justify. We're not trying to justify what they did in their roles in the marriage to try to give them a rightful earning salary or alimony, whatever you want to call it. What we're saying is, and this is not something to debate about.
It is something to debate about.
No, it's not.
Because you're not stating the facts correctly.
No, the fact of the matter is this. Before marriage, the woman wasn't rich. After marriage, the woman got rich.
Okay, so let's use your exact same example. Jeff Bezos, when him and his wife got married, was Jeff Bezos rich? No. Was his wife rich? She had more money than him.
Okay, so
no. Let's use your example.
Let's use it. We can use it. Because guess what? Whose account?
Her bread put him on.
Whose account does the money go to? Or did the money go to? Is it Jeff Bezos' company?
It's their account.
Is it Jeff Bezos' company?
What are you talking about? It was their account. It was their...
No. See, I answer your questions and you refuse to answer mine.
I just answered it.
No, you didn't. It's a yes or no.
It went to their account. You said whose account? It went to their account.
Whose company is it? Is it Jeff Bezos' company?
Well, if
it
you're
was
married, it's
also
theirs.
hers. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No. Because guess
They
what?
start-
This is how you know who it is. Because when they got divorced,
He had to give her the money.
he gave her money. Did he give her the company?
It. Oh my God.
Yeah, he kept
Okay.
his company.
So when I'm
Because that's an agreement.
yeah.
That is called an agreement. It means
Yo.
she don't want the fucking company.
Yo,
she ain't worried about
listen,
that. She want
I
her
understand.
bread.
I'm sure she got stopped.
No, that was kind of tough right
I
there.
understand.
Huh?
That was kind of tough. She didn't get the company.
She didn't get the
But
company.
that's if she wanted it.
No,
At the end of-
she was never going to get it.
Oh my God! At the end of the day, when they got together, she had money. He
Okay.
didn't.
Well, speaking from a man that's been divorced, whatever was built during the marriage is community property.
Thank you.
That's why people don't like to get divorced in California, because it's 50-50. That's why they will go certain places to get a divorce, so that way they can keep their assets. That's why people will hide money over here so it does not become community property.
But moral of the story is,
It was his company. He started.
okay, cool. So
With who money?
we could sit here.
'Cause she had
we
money,
could
he
sit
had
here
no
and
money.
Go through we can sit here and go through legal terms on what we built together is community
let's ignore the
property.
facts.
But what we can actually say, the
ignore the
fact is that men establish these companies. The rich, we're talking about the richest, not all.
Dig it.
The richest. Men establish these companies.
Right.
I'm not saying women don't contribute to these companies. Men establish these companies and elevate these companies, and 9 times out of 10, they're the majority and or full owner of these companies when this marriage is now divorced. So we can debate about that, but what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when you have men that have money,
You're not stating factual things, Rico.
yes, I am. What I'm
Not.
saying is, when you have men that have money,
This
or
is not
men that
factual.
know
Let me look it up. I'll look it up. I'm sorry.
men that know where they're going, right? And you know what the crazy thing is? I learned this from a woman, but it's cool. Thank you. Appreciate you.
It's not facts.
When you're talking about men that have money or men that know where they're going, right? They fear the fact of losing half of what they know they're going to get.
That's why Diddy ain't got married. Trust and believe. Diddy know his business.
Y'all, but why would you not? So, okay, listen, there are things. Okay, so in states, and you just mentioned this, absent a prenuptial agreement, it's 50-50. Everything that goes into the communal property, and I mean into the community property, right? But that's not considering if you have a prenup.
But prenups are getting contested now.
No, it's not. Please let's not put. Listen, let's not put that out there. That is against.
Well, put it like
that's
this.
against public policy.
She's
That is
an
against public
attorney.
policy. If you
Yeah,
if you can always fight a prenup and be successful, they would not be having prenups.
Well, I mean,
That's-
what I mean by fighting it, it prolongs it because they want to contest it. And it makes it harder to get divorced because they can say, well, I want to contest it. I want to have it looked at. That's what I mean. It don't mean it's going to change, but it will prolong the process.
I agree, but I don't know. If I sign a prenup, I feel like I already know, like, this is what I had before.
Yeah.
And if we need that to be figured out, we get a forensic accountant. And those are my assets. Those assets flow this way into the community. Money can still be taken out of the community if my assets flowed into it a certain way. But at the end of the day, if you sign a prenup, we're going to split everything 60-40, everything 45-55, whatever. That's the end of it.
Well, I've been saying this. If you know real estate, buying houses and stuff, I feel like everybody wants somebody who is turnkey. But they're not turnkey. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
That's
You know, everybody wants somebody who is turnkey, and they are not turnkey, and that's what makes it fucking unfair.
they are full good.
And they're full reno.
They are full good.
They're full tear everything up. They
taking out beams.
asbestos and all. But guess what? You better be turnkey. But people are forgetting why marriage was created. It was created to build wealth.
Thank you. It's a business.
Yeah.
That's why back in the day, if you watch Game of Thrones, you will marry the house of Turgon and you will marry the house of whatever. They wanted to keep the wealth.
But hold on, but
Consolidating
time out.
assets. That's all it is.
But here's the thing. Let's not forget this. It was also to build wealth,
And keep wealth.
keep wealth, and to bring wealth together.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
I'm speaking very clear.
That's what he just said.
No. You're not listening. Yeah, so I know you didn't hear what I said.
That's exactly what he
Bring
just
wealth
said.
together, which means
So she needs to come with
exactly.
Well, the family would come.
That's what you just
said. No, that's not what he said.
You must not watch the show.
Family, but the family may have brought it for her or for him, right?
Oh, and I know I said wrong names for House of
Yeah.
For those who watch, please don't beat me up.
It's two families of means.
Yes,
That's what he's
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So,
But
two
what I'm saying is now when we
They
take
don't
the
watch
real
it, though.
essence of marriage, there's nobody coming with anything. It's usually
I see what he's
It's
saying.
usually
I see what he's
it's usually
going with it.
here. Okay, oh you have this. All right, now I'm willing to come here. But you didn't bring anything when you initially came.
My favorite couple, people don't think about it, but Michelle Obama was his boss. He had a hole in the floor
know this,
when
yeah.
he was taking her on a date. She had more than he
in
had.
his shoes.
A woman typically will, in this community now, will build you up. That's why it's so important that our black
Do you
women.
think so? I don't think
I
so.
think so.
It's
I
been
think
like that
Michelle.
for a very
I
long
think
time.
I think Michelle Obama
think so.
is of a different woman than the woman in today's era,
Well, you got to understand, like, bro, we need
which is very
a
admirable.
woman, a black woman speaking life into a black man is powerful, which is why they did those things to separate us.
Yeah.
I saw you make a comment, the government, that's why I said the government did things intentionally to disenfranchise our black women against us because they knew how powerful we were. Why are we so far from where we were? And what is the issue and why we can't get our women back? Because a man needs respect to feel loved. A man don't feel love because you kissing on him, whatever. The Bible says a man needs to, that's how men feel loved. Rico is saying, I need my women and women to respect me. So guess what? I'm going to get out here and I'm going to take care of them. And from that love and taking care of them, you need to respect me as a man. Now, having two women, that's his prerogative. But he's still saying no matter what, and here's the beauty in what he's saying, I'm going to love them. I'm not going to dog them, but I'm going to have you and I'm going to keep you. I'm going to take care of you, but I need two women. That's just who I am.
5 women who became billionaires after divorcing their husbands.
Divorce.
Sue Ann
like a
Arnell.
It is a scheme.
She got $1 billion.
Who was it?
Who?
Her name is Sue Ann Arnell.
What?
Arnold. She got $1 billion. She was married to the oil baron CEO of Continental Resources. Sue Gross, $1.3 billion, the ex-wife of Bill Gross, billionaire founder, investment management of firm PIMCO. Elaine Wynn, $2 billion. Elaine Wynn is the ex-wife of Steve Wynn, the Steve Wynn Hotels. Melinda Gates, $1.8 billion and counting. Melinda Gates is the latest billionaire divorced on the block. She's already worth $1.8 billion. Last but not least, Mackenzie Scott got $57.7 billion
Your girl.
from Jeff Bezos.
Well, what that lets me know is you can have all the money in the world and niggas still don't want to stay married.
You heard what it was called. It was called a divorce
Yeah.
Ponzi.
Well, I want to say
We're not promoting this. This is according to a thing called narrow matrix.
I would actually want to know how long they were married, and I would actually want to know what they came into the marriage with. Because the thing is that we can't compare apples and oranges. You can't compare.
Okay, Sue Ann was married for 26 years. The one that got the first billion. Sue Gross was married for 32 years.
Sounds like
Lynn Wayne.
half their life.
You got to cut a check for that. You gonna
Not
have
$1
to.
billion for 20
Miss
years.
Wynn was married.
Average American makes $1.5 million for 20 years of work.
It got to go by what you got, your ass.
No, it don't. You being nice. You being
No,
fucking
he's not.
nice.
He's been married. He understands how it works.
He's being nice. He's a nice guy.
You know what the solution is? If you ever notice, right? If a police officer pulls over a man and woman at the same time, it is protocol for him to call a female officer to check and pat down the woman, right? You go on an airplane. TSA, it means a woman has to do the strip search. So what does that tell us? Women need to check women. Men need to check men. I'm so sick of women telling men what they need to do, and men, we need to stop telling women what they need to do. When in church, if a woman's slip was showing, a man didn't come say, hey, sister, your slip showing. A woman would tell her, and a man would come over and yoke up this man. Our men, we need to start holding other men accountable. And we need to do what we need to do for us. And women, y'all need to start holding women accountable, because here's what it seems like. You ever went to school with this kid who had a parent that would beat them in front of everybody?
That was me.
And then you had some kids that would get beat in private, right?
That was me.
That was me.
I was both.
But I feel like when it comes to men, we get chastised in front of everybody. And when it comes to women, women get chastised in private.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, men are always told what they are not, black men. Yeah. We are always told what we're not. We rarely hear what we are. Come on, bro.
I'm with you.
Come through,
Derek.
Derek.
I feel like that's very
No,
common
you
right
got
now.
no. The only time she tells you what she is when she's fucking you. And you making her feel good. But the moment she's done with your ass, you are everything, all the things. Nigga, I ain't like you. You ain't got no motherfucking side tooth. No way. Get the fuck up out here. You ain't. They will ride you and start to tell you exactly what you are not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to. A man has to hold a place for a woman to speak life into him. That's why men are whores. Men are whores because they have to hold a place to get anything from a woman. If you ain't fucking me, you ain't giving me no money, you ain't doing whatever. That's why men will lay up with a bunch of women, because half the time, the first woman to ever emasculate him is his mama. Damn. We can't be mama's boys because we look that bad at that.
Wait, but mothers coddle their sons.
Bullshit.
Wait, no, we can actually Google this. Black mothers, let me tell you something. Black mothers coddle their sons, and they raise their daughters to fucking survive and be out here and get it for ourselves.
Well, what I mean is, when a single mother has a young boy, she don't know how to make him a man, so she talks to him. Like, we black people give so much tough love that all it is tough. It's not love. So they talk at the boy. And first of all, a man isn't anything. He is either the man of the house, he's either the protector, or they're so focused on making sure that he ain't shit daddy. So we never get to just be ourselves. We either got to be a good husband to a future woman that don't even exist. You know what I mean?
Wait, but isn't that, so I've heard a lot of men say,
right now.
girls are not raised to be wives. Wouldn't you want
but
to?
But we're talking about how young black boys are so ignored in the house.
I'm talking about the points you just made.
No, I'm get there.
Yeah.
Black young men are so ignored in the house that we don't grow up to be much of anything except what we see outside. So we're and that again goes to the father not being in the house or whatever. So it leaves this mom to try to make her son a man, and a lot of times she talks very ugly and tough to him. So when this young boy is out of the house and he's calling other women bitches, he really want to call his mama a bitch. That's who he's talking to, because his mama talked to him so ugly.
Black boys are coddled.
I don't.
Black
You
boys are
think so?
Yes.
I don't understand where y'all get this from. You know, this is the second time I heard it.
It's in my family. I literally see it.
I think
That's
the only one
great.
that gets coddled.
It definitely isn't girls.
I think what? Okay, well, I'm not even gonna get to that.
You don't
point.
think girls aren't coddled?
I think.
What? No. Even our fathers tell us, our fathers be like, you need to be able to get it for yourself. If your dad is in the house, he's not saying, oh, my daughter, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. They tell you, you need to get good grades, you need to perform, you need to be this, that, and the other, so that you can be out here and be able to figure shit out on your own and not be worried about a man taking care of you or having to depend on a man. That is exactly how black women are raised.
But you know
even when our fathers are there.
But that's just to touch on this, just to touch on that, that is setting you up to be an actual wife. In 2022, where men are now demanding more of a woman than they've ever have in the history of life.
So what about these same men in the same generation who are coddled?
Wait. One at a time. One at a time. I'm touching on this one. I'm touching on this part. So if a father is pushing you to be a better you, right? You will be snatched up in this world and be a wife to someone great. Because the best version of yourself, majority, this is not all the time, the best version of yourself is not going to allow you to really stay with a low frequency man for a long period of time. You might experience it, you'll get over it, and then you're going to find somebody of your caliber or higher. So if a dad is doing that, that's actually benefiting the woman, right? Or the little girl. That's just that part. Now, when it comes to the coddling thing, this is the second time I heard this coddling thing for black boys in the last month. and it really baffles my mind because I'm a black boy, and all of my friends growing up, besides maybe 2 or 3, were black boys, and we didn't get coddled. I just told you I got beat in private. I got beat in public.
You can still get beat and be coddled.
I didn't get beat and get coddled. My mom I only got coddled when I got really. When I'm talking about beat, I'm talking about like bruises in unknown places.
Maybe I need to redefine, because I think you're not appreciating the definition of coddled that I'm talking about. I'm not saying, oh, poor baby, not like that. That's not what I'm saying about being coddled. No. Coddling is when you don't raise your kids at the same standard. You have a son and a daughter who you would imagine should be raised the exact same. But one is required to make good grades. The other is not.
I don't think
one is required to learn how to cook, clean, wash, put a hem on some pants, this, that, and the other. But one is only required to take out the trash. And these are life skills, right? It seems that you would be raising your kid to be the best person.
Well, your mom is raising you to be a wife, and your son to be a provider. Because again, all women care about is if we're bringing money.
All you're doing is taking out the trash. That's not learning how to be a provider.
That is true.
But no. We're looking at, if we're comparing oranges and oranges. We have a boy and a girl, same age. They are not raised the same.
I don't know.
Period.
See, I can't talk about Texas. I won't talk about Texas. I'm gonna tell you.
My husband's from New York, and I can tell y'all what I see in New York.
And what I'll tell you about New Jersey.
What I see in
I'm gonna tell you in New Jersey. In New Jersey, first and foremost, in New Jersey, shout out to Jersey. We are the number 3 best school system in the country. The black boys that I grew up with in New Jersey had to get good grades, as well as their sisters. We were all held to that same standard. Granted, maybe some of the household chores might be different, and I'm not going to oppose that, right?
But isn't that being the best you?
No, I mean...
Giving you life skills?
Life skills doesn't mean that you're not teaching your son how to clean up after himself. Maybe he doesn't know how to cook, but let's say if he plays sports, he gets good grades, and he, is that guy, he's building a status. When you go and you grow older and older and older, if you're used to being somebody that is held at a high standard, you will always find a way to be held at a high standard in every aspect of your life.
But why would you want to give...
Because a man has to earn value.
That's not what I'm... Just listen. Why would you want to give one kid... These are the exact same kids. Why would you want to give one life skills and deprive the other?
We didn't say that. I said cooking. That's the only life skill that I missed, that I excluded.
No. Oh, I can go through the list.
No. I'm not talking about you, and I'm not talking about where you're at and where you were from. I'm
not saying that.
I'm talking about what I've seen. I'm talking about the boys that grew to be men around me. I'm not talking about you and your experiences. So when I say the black boys over here aren't coddled, I can't say that the black boys down south aren't coddled. I can't say that the black boys in Florida and Mississippi aren't coddled. I'm talking about the state of New Jersey, where I have watched all these black boys be chastised in public, in private, had to figure it out, had to work hard, had to play a sport, had to get good grades. If you didn't get good grades, you didn't play the sport. If you didn't play the sport, your mom was damn near about to kick you out the house. Everybody that I know was outside being bad as well as inside being good. And by inside, I'm talking about the school.
You know what? I just thought about what you just said, and she said Texas, whatever. Being that I'm from the South, and Texas is South, Southwest, but still South, those blacks have a different frame of reference than like a New York black or whatever, because the blacks down there still have a frame of slavery, because racism was still very much alive in North Carolina. There's still windows where you can see where black people had to go get their food. So I think people raised their children a different way, because up north, when I moved up north, I heard people still calling their mothers mommy. Down south, we say ma. We don't even say, like, it's a whole different thing. And up north in New York, people tend to live together longer. Down south, they're trying to, which is wrong, they're trying to put you out at 18. That's some bullshit, by the way, that black people do. But still, it's just, we're raised our children different. And down south, you are pushed to be more I can't say that. Because in New York, you guys got to ride the train, public transportation. You guys do a lot of
It's
things
a lot
differently.
harder to live
So,
over
it's
here
weird.
than it. And the tri-state area is New York and New Jersey are amongst the top or the most expensive places to live in the country, right? In the top 5. So to be able to survive out here is not as easy as it is elsewhere. I probably could have got kicked out at 18 and got a job and found an apartment for $700. That don't exist over here. Like, even in the hood, a $700 apartment don't exist.
You wouldn't want it even if it did.
Right, it's there.
You wouldn't want it. Yeah.
Even the
wouldn't want
ain't
it.
safe ones ain't 700. I
Yo.
tell you. But like, and so what I'm saying is like, oh, and this is why I always have to keep this in mind. That's why I said like, I can't speak about where you grew up because I don't know what it's like out there. You could be very much right in saying those black boys out there, or I don't want to keep on putting this color on it, but for the sake of the conversation, these young men out there are getting coddled in that regard. They're held to a less standard than the women, which is actually terrible if you ask me. I think that out here, everybody's held to the higher standard or held to the same standard because it's hard to survive in this state. Like,
Would you say that for like Hispanic families? Because like my friends, my Dominican friends here, they always be like, oh, well, I had to, get out here and get it for myself. I was raised to really survive, to have life skills, to do this, that, and the other. But my brother over here, he ain't got to do nothing. Literally, absolutely nothing.
I didn't have to do any housework.
Because mama said it was okay. As the girl, I would have to serve my brother.
I didn't have to do housework. I didn't have to do anything.
I've never seen that. I mean,
Yeah, my grandmother, well, I was also raised by old school parents. But here's what you said something I want to know. Men are the prize. Not saying that women are not, but men need to see themselves as the prize because I don't care how educated you are. I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care how much money you got. You still want to be chose. And you can't be anything if a man doesn't give you the title. You're not a girlfriend, you're not a fiance, you're not a wife until a man makes that for you. And that's where we are kind of getting, everybody want to talk about how independent they are. Then go out here and choose, sis. Choose your man, sis. Get on your knee and choose your man, sis.
Shit.
Get on your,
They out here proposing.
right? Choose your man.
I got my
choose
hand
your
out.
man.
I got my hand out.
Choose your
They
man,
out here
sis.
proposing. When it comes to like women marrying and, Alan, you mentioned that a lot of women are all chasing or all desirous of the same 10% of men. I think that black women, we are doing that to our detriment. And by that, I mean, we are very race loyal.
Yeah.
We are very worried about, black men. Oh, I want to help him. I see the good in him. I want to make him better, this, that, and the other. And you said this earlier about speaking power and helping him.
We need it.
Right.
We need y'all.
But it's also, it hasn't benefited us. When you look at top line, it hasn't benefited us. With single families, black families are leading. Black people are leading single families. Black people are leading when it comes to the least amount of money.
Yep.
Black men only make $45,000 a year. Black women only make $41,000 a year. And at the end of the day, we still only make 63% of every dollar which is the standard that the white male makes. So we losing way more.
63%.
You know what I'm saying? Huh?
63%.
Yeah, 63%. And for a black woman, we make 83 cents on every dollar that a black man makes. So at the end of the day, I feel like women, and I'm very much a proponent of like a black man and a black woman. However, if you are desirous of being married, you gotta like who like you. You should marry who want to marry you. If this person is Indian or whatever, and he treats you how you want to be treated, he does everything that you require, and you like, and he likes you the same way, why would you sell yourself short?
Well, I got something to say about that outside the race
can't
stuff.
do that.
But I think as black people, when we want to get married, we should do a better job of like wiping our feet at the door and just coming home and remembering your house is peace. You know what I mean? Because when we step outside the door, we have to code switch every day. We never really get to be ourselves. And when we get home, we should be able to be First of all, that's why you gotta love somebody. Like is stronger than love in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to jump to love, but no, I want to fall in like. Because the like is want to the like is want to keep me working when I really don't love you all the time. You know, it goes up and down. But when we want to get with somebody outside a race, I want us to understand why we think it's better is because they don't have the same trauma that we have. So at best, what you can hope for in your life is to find somebody where your traumas can coexist. Because everybody got it. You got some, you got some, you got some, but you got to find that person where y'all traumas can coexist and y'all can love each other and work on it together because it's never going to go away. Trauma is a scar. It stays with you. And what we're doing is we're getting with people and we don't ask the proper questions. Hey, you got money, I got money, let's get together, but let's be clear. I don't need you. They're quick to tell you I don't need you, but they don't tell you I want you.
How about we just stop going for men because they have money. That's the solution to your problem.
It's like saying stop going for women because they look good.
No, it's not. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, first of all, I told you it only costs $8,500 to look good. You can save up for that. That's a car.
So would you date a woman who didn't have a big butt and all that?
Can she be overweight?
No, she can't be overweight.
See?
But that's because something.
It's still aesthetics.
But that's something that it doesn't cost you much money. You have to spend $20 a month at the gym, and you actually would spend less money eating because you wouldn't be eating out, and you wouldn't probably have those same bad habits. Now, what I'm trying to say is stop going for people for their money, because if you have only 10% of men that's making over 6 figures, right? I think it's 15.5 if you want me to be exact.
No. Oh, this is not on here. Go ahead.
If you only, you had the fact.
He got my notes.
That was a good one.
But what I'm trying to say is if only 10%.
I think it is 15.
Let's say 15% of men, 15% of men make over 6 figures, right? And now
that's all men.
And that's all men. I don't care what color he is. It's all men, right? So 15% of all men make 6 figures. I don't know the number of the black man, right? If we're speaking about black women and men, getting married. But I'm gonna just speak general. So if you're trying to find somebody who treats you right, who looks good, and then who also makes over 6 figures, that 15% probably throttles down to 3 to 5%, maybe even less. And I'm being generous. So now you got to be realistic with your odds, right? I'm not telling nobody to settle, but I'm telling that you're trying to put a dollar amount over somebody's head to distinguish the amount of importance and love that you should give this person, which doesn't make sense because unless the only way I would say the exception is if you are demanding that because you make that. If you're bringing that and that's the bare minimum you're willing to accept, okay, cool. But if you're not bringing that, you cannot demand that. And then here's a flip side. Even if you are demanding them to make over 6 figures, which is only 15%, you have to be like the women that they require, not the women that you want to be.
So they don't exercise their options.
You can't exercise. You can't be if you like to be on the right side, and the men that are having money like women on the left side, you can no longer be you on that right side. You need to go and be what they want on that left side. And I would tell you like this, 9 times out of 10, if you're not being yourself, you're gonna want out that relationship anyways.
It's the thing. It's the same thing with these fancy cars. Everybody wants a fancy car, and you can get it, but it's that maintenance that's gonna get your ass. It's that maintenance is going to maintain and get it, but at the end of the day, when you get married, so many people who are letting their partners walk out of the house starving. Starving for emotion, starving for sex, starving for spiritual covering, all that stuff. And what we want to do is we want to look healed instead of being healed. That's why we got the Gucci on. That's why we got the off-whites. That's why we drive the cars. That's why we got the house, because we want to look healed. And we're not.
Can I ask you a question? You were talking about allowing your partner to walk out the house starving. Do you, and I personally feel that men don't, but do you feel like men have a safe space to where they can openly express
Hell no.
what
Hell no.
y'all, thank you so much for chilling with us.
Recording this?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just over here talking.
Yeah, we just
But,
talking.
thank y'all so much for joining us. This topic has been crazy. As you can see, it's multifaceted. Like, we can go on for days. And I really respect and I appreciate y'all's opinions and for answering all my questions, because I like clarification. So make sure y'all check in and subscribe to your homies. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, the church flyer, everywhere. So make sure y'all give us some support. We love the love. I promise you. We love it. Peace.
Church flyer.
Hey, wherever you can find us.